Woman 25 who was violently raped by jailbird, illegal migrant, it writes. Jailbird. Despicable. Woman 25 who was violently raped by anti-white animal terrorist speaks out about her terrifying ordeal. No man will ever love me again. A guy in this community got this right. Let's show you the anti-white terrorist. We'll come back to read. There's the anti-white animal terrorist who did this to this woman. What do you think the schmucks would say? What do you think the cucks would say? Here's what JK160 from this community said. We failed. We failed. That's why this happened. Time to take the hard pill, white race. A young woman, savagely beaten, raped, and left to die while on spring break last year, grew furious when she later learned the identity of her attacker. A Haitian with a violent history who was in the country illegally. The suspect, who was deported while awaiting trial, was a stranger when the attack occurred in Miami last April. The 25-year-old victim's jaw was fractured and her teeth were knocked out of her mouth in the attack. This savage piece of anti-white shit should be hunted down and gutted by law enforcement after facing trial and found guilty. This motherfucking piece of shit. We failed. Take your responsibility. Do the right thing. Any that's going to stand up and say, oh, it's another X, Y, or Z. It's another non-white. Oh, look at the non-white again. You are a fucking coward. And you're next. I'm sick of these C's in our circles. I am sick of these clowns showing up saying, when is it going to get hot? Fuck you! Back to your easy chair, bitch! The teeth were punched out of her face while you all sit around complaining like a bunch of sharing video after video, clip after clip of Bubble Boy Fuentes. Fuck you losers. You all want to sit around, talk all day about black crime stats. I'm at this close to, if I come face to face with more of these in the white sympathetic sphere, of let me show you the black crime stats, of bitch slapping them. In fact, you know what? I probably will. I've heard 30 fucking years of look at the crime stats. Look at how they can't hold themselves back when it comes to anything. They need instant gratification. Okay. Now what? I fucking hate every single one of you. You know, before this happened in April, this white girl was whole. She had everything ahead of her. Now she is so psychologically damaged. She believes no man could ever love her again. It's your fault. It is your fault. Everybody's spreading the garbage about Jews and blacks and IQ stats and inability to restrain oneself and on and Jew behind this or Jew behind that. It is your fault. It should be you. It should be you underneath the flailing fist and whatever else he used to beat her with. It should be you losing consciousness and coming to while the attack is still going on. You fucking miserable assholes. God damn it. Look at her face. With no teeth. With no teeth. That's what she used to look like. Quote, looking back on that day, I remember laying on the floor of that house he dragged me into and thinking I had already died. She told the Daily Mail, if the white race were a people, this would not have happened. If you want to stop this from happening in the future, we've got to become a people. Complaining about non-whites doesn't make you a people. It makes you a bitch. It makes you a fucking loser. That's what it makes you. I was beaten so bad over and over again. And I did not understand why. I did not even know this man. She would only learn the suspect's identity 9 months later after a DNA match. I wonder where they found his DNA. Man, you deserve that outcome. Come at me, Juicebergs. Come on, let's see your identity. I want to see who you are. Let's see your identity, you little cowardice bitches. You're not revealing shit. You're not revealing shit. Sit in your mama's basement. Hide between her legs. Junior Joseph, 28, had entered the U.S. on a visa that had long since elapsed. Records show would not have happened if the white race were a people. He remained here even after records show him being arrested for crimes including domestic violence, battery, burglary, drugs, and resisting arrest. So because of all of that white erasure of our norms and all of that white erasure, because of the cowardly cucks, because of the schmucks out there who want to just complain about non-whites all the time, you did that. That's your fault. Don't show up with some cartoon frog. You fucking share another cartoon frog. It's hard to believe there was someone like that on the streets. How many white females is this happening to? And then you want to complain that the white girls don't have interest in you? Because you're a bitch, because you're a boy, because you're a coward, because you won't do what works, because you look for scapegoats. That's what bitches and losers do. You're not attractive to them. It's hard to believe there was someone like that on the streets and allowed to repeatedly commit crimes. He was in and out of the court system, and he kept doing bad things, she said. It ended with me almost losing my life. She's now hoping to use her story to spread the word of what she sees as a national disgrace. the country's broken immigration system. No, the disgrace are all these white little dicked boys out there that don't want to act like men. That's the disgrace. The little bitches showing up who are complaining about you should be talking about Jews. You should be talking about black IQ and crime rate. You should be talking about immigrations, all these abstractions. You should be talking about the abstraction of X, Y, or Z instead. Those are the cowards that are causing this. That's the disgrace. She's now hoping to use her story. She spoke with the Daily Mail on the heels of giving videotaped interview to American Border Story, a conservative group devoted to exposing the human impact on the nation's illegal immigration crisis. Could you honestly imagine seeing this going on in the world around us and just complaining about it? Can you honestly imagine being of that mentality, of that cowardice? I can't even fathom the kind of bitch that would do that. Let me share another cartoon frog. Let's pause here for a moment. We'll get into this. Let's hear totally unrelated to the story at hand, except that it's deeply related to the work of ending that. By the way, while I am talking, that's happening to a white girl right now. While I'm talking.
Never complain, never explain. And what it means is don't complain about life. Don't explain what you're doing or why you're doing it. Just do it. By whining and complaining, all you're doing is making people think bad things about you, looking weak. And when you complain a lot, you have a mindset where everything is kind of a potential complaint.
Yeah, that was awesome. I think that a lot of people really struggle with this, and the reason we complain and whine so much is because we're looking for validation from others on, why something in our life that we don't like isn't our fault, right?
Scapegoating.
Right? So we'll complain about the way someone's behaving, or we'll complain about our job, or we'll complain about a relationship. And almost never will we say that we're the problem. We'll blame it on something external. And the people that have the most inner peace and the most successful people that I've ever met never do this. The only thing that they focus on is their actions, doing the work, and they let that speak for themselves.
Period, motherfuckers. Now, I wonder why the Fuentes clips are everywhere. I wonder why the Jew-spurging is everywhere. I wonder why. Because it is the path of failure. How many more sisters and daughters have to be brutally raped? I absolutely. And here, we are the community that got this right. JK160, we failed. She joins a chorus of victims, families who have shared their own stories. It comes after Rachel Morin, 37. How many more of these do you have to hear before you say, I actually want to stop this, and so I'm going to use what works? How many more times do you have to hear these stories? Do you not feel for them whatsoever? Are you so psychopathic or such an insufferable cur that nothing will motivate you to do what works? You just need that scapegoat. So Rachel Morin, you remember her? She was raped and murdered on a hiking trail in Bel Air, Maryland, by Victor Martinez Hernandez, another anti-white animal in the country. She was a mother of 5. White race is such a joke. Such a joke. I was driving. We're going to be taking our break here in a moment. I'll take a look at what you all are saying. We're going to come back and we are going to celebrate our victories, which means that these abstractionists, the cucks, the schmucks, they're all going to leave. They don't want to see the victories. They're not looking for that. They're looking for the scapegoating. Prosecute the case against somebody that I can blame. But I was driving here in Northern Virginia. There was some kind of festival on, and there was throngs of people. You had to slow down because streets were closed off and people were walking. You know, the first thing I noticed here in Northern Virginia, once great state of Virginia, first thing I noticed was that the sea of humanity that I could see looking down a street, about 95% of them had black hair. Does that look like a Western country? About 95% of the heads were black haired. It's everything but. I saw furries walking along. I saw multiracial unions of various types everywhere. I saw just about every norm of Western civilization white erased. And you know what pained me the most of all? What pained me the most of all, because I'm a man of the West, seeing that white erasure, was my relationship with my biospirit and our ancestors. I feel responsible to them. I feel responsible to my Southern ancestors. I feel responsible to the men and women of the West. And it pained me grievously to see it complete. There wasn't a shred of anything Southern. Not a shred. Totally white erased. And I felt like crying out and apologizing to my ancestors, our ancestors. I'm doing all I can and failing. There ain't a man left in the white race that isn't in this community. Not a man left. They're out there sharing little frog videos and images online. That's what they're doing. Not a man left. That's why we're in the state that we're in. That's why the festival is completely white erased. That's why all the heads, 95% are black haired. That's why furries, not even, I was hoping, I was like, this has got to be some kind of mascot. No, furries. It's where every norm of the West, white erased. And not a shred. I can still feel my ancestors who fought for Virginia in the air. My literal family who fought and died in the air around me. And this is what the white race has left. This is what the white race has left. They want to show up and complain about other groups of people. Kill your speed. You don't deserve what has been bequeathed to you. You don't deserve it. You are no inheritor of our dignity, no inheritor of our manliness, no inheritor of our courage. Once great state of Virginia taking another step in the direction of total white erasure. And you got little froggets complaining about Jews. And this beautiful white female. And you know what the world would be like for her if we controlled our destiny. She wouldn't be clubbed up like that. She would be living a happy life in a wholesome, safe environment. She wouldn't be endlessly seeking after the latest handbag, the latest like on social media. And she wouldn't be beaten within an inch of her life while savagely raped by an anti-white animal. So physically and psychologically ruined that she concludes no man could ever love her again. You have no idea. If you can feel the anguish in what this woman went through and what she now thinks of herself, you're ready to take an axe handle to these little froglets out here. The president has highlighted Morin's tragedy in his campaign for broader security. Donald Trump has blamed former President Joe Biden. Speaking out about Jenny's case, executive director of Tabs told the Daily Mail the reason this is so impactful is because the same thing happened to this girl too, but by some miracle, she lived. If you see the video, it's amazing she lived. And she can even talk at this point. Her face was so broken, so many teeth knocked out. You can look. That's Rachel. This is the girl here that was says no man will ever love her again. There's your anti-white animal that raped her. The initial attack on spring break received little to no media attention. It's at variance with the anti-white narrative. Junior Joseph's arrest, or this was from Rachel Morin's attacker. Arrest received some local coverage. It was quarantined because it was at variance. The identity of the victims, whose basic account of the attack was summarized in police records, remains secret. Jenny told the Daily Mail that she remained silent because she feared retribution. Yeah. And retribution is possible since so many white males are boys playing video games and they consider themselves froggets. She talked about being raised in a loving family, how she was studying psychology in the hopes of helping people with trauma. That's her right there. That's her mouth after all of her teeth were knocked out. He knocked me to the ground and he beat me in the head. And that's when my arm broke because I was protecting my eyes. And I kind of was going in and out of consciousness at that point. And I remember kind of being carried by him over his shoulder. That is a trophy. That is the taking of heads in battle. In ancient battle, they would take heads, as you know, very often to control the opposition. That was the trophy, to control the head. This guy, because you're a frogget and because you worship a little bubble boy or the other schmucks and cucks out there, your white sister, your white daughter was carried off by an anti-white animal. No wonder they don't want you. No, don't come complaining to me. And I looked at my arm. The bones were sticking out of my arm. And I blacked out again. I woke up in the house, and he was on top of me. The attack continued with the assailant beating and raping her. She closed her eyes in fear. She went into excruciating detail about how he urinated in her mouth. Urinated in her mouth and up her nose. I was so close to dying. I don't even know how I got out of the house. I guess I crawled. She said a little girl saw her through the window of another house. Jenny was rushed to the hospital where she had to be intubated. My jaw was broken. All the bones from below my eye sockets were shattered. The maxilla was broken. Teeth were gone. It was all gone from him kicking me and beating me in the face and head. I was devastated. I thought, I'll never have a husband. There's no man that will ever love me. There are things that I would like to say about all the cowards, all the male little white boys out there, especially the Jewsburgs with their tiny little swastikas that you just can't say on YouTube. I never see me in person because this is your doing. This is a consequence of what you all push. Don't tell me any more data, because if you start talking data, I see Jenny. I see a savage anti-white pissing in her mouth, shattered from him punching and kicking it. Don't come to me and tell me how they're more dangerous. Don't come and tell me about there's a Jew that's anti-white, because I'm going to see Jenny. And if you decide you're going to stay on that course and we're face to face, you're getting what I would give to this guy that did to Jenny. We're going to need men. We're going to need men to stand up. White men to stand up and do the right thing. And the first thing that has to be done is the trash among our race. The boys have to be taken out. That's the first thing that has to be done. We'll fix the house after that.